So today we're going to go ahead and take apart my old Volkswagen Diesel Beetle's engine. This is a 2002 Volkswagen ALH. It's blown to hell and back. I don't know exactly what happened. I've had this motor sitting for a year, so it's really filthy. I'm going to go ahead and clean it before I start taking it apart. But something really bad happened, and just to show a quick peek at it, if you look over here, you can see I have injector number 2, sits all the way at the bore, and injector number 1 is shot out. This is what the injector is supposed to look like, and here is cylinder number 1. Clearly, something really bad happened in cylinder number 1. I don't know what, but we're going to find out today. We're going to go ahead and cover this entire thing in oven cleaner, put it on the stand, pressure wash it, and then start tearing it apart. Yay, let's do that. Need to go ahead and pull this off before we put the engine mount on, because then we won't be able to get this guy off. But it's just a bunch of 10mm, and there's 2 down here.
I see you being gentle.
I honestly should remove that dowel, but fuck it. There we go. You ain't gotta worry about where you're spraying at the dead motor. Just don't spray each other. Yeah. Not with this shit.
Yeah, see what it does when you spray it in your eyes.
Alright, now that we got this entire thing covered in oven cleaner, best stuff ever, I'm gonna go push it out and hit it with the pressure washer. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and take a 16mm and take all the brackets off, starting with the motor mount and then the accessory brackets. Of course, some of these are on tighter than I thought. Now this should hopefully come right off. Hey, sweet. Hey, look at that. That's probably a bolt that I was missing a long time ago. Now this is still good, and I kind of messed up the one that's on my car, so I need to keep it. Alright, take the timing belt off. You should replace your timing belt at around 80,000 miles. Some people say you can run it to 100. Personally, I want to keep it at 80,000 because that timing belt goes, there goes your whole frickin' motor. And that is not what happened to this motor. That timing belt was perfectly fine. It only had 40,000 miles on it halfway through its life. So we're still trying to figure out exactly what happened. I have a few theories. I think the wrist pin might have broke, the connecting rod might have broke, or the connecting rod unbolted itself from the crankshaft. So we'll see what happened. I still don't know. I guess let's go ahead and pull off everything on the front accessory, and I'm not reusing any of these pulleys. Keep in mind this thing has sat out in the weather for like a year. So I'm not too surprised that this doesn't want to cooperate with me. There it goes. Alright. I really hate seeing this guy go because I had a really nice billet impeller on it. It sucks, but it's whatever. To pull this guy out, it's just 3 10mm. Also, all of these shafts right here were 13mm, and that was a 16. Now we're going to go ahead and pull this guy off. And cover can come off too, because I already removed it previously. That was a 18mm. Just pop this guy off. One thing you're going to have to do is get a screwdriver or something to get behind this to go ahead and punch it out. You have to drill a hole on this timing cover to go ahead and do that. You can get a puller for it, but whenever you're in the car, it's just easier to do it this way. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the engine around and remove the oil filter housing and cooler, all that kind of stuff, the vacuum pump, and the water neck. In order to go ahead and remove the vacuum pump, you can get in here with a wrench, but I'm being lazy and using this guy, so you have to remove the water neck first, then you can get to this last bolt. To completely remove the water neck, it's just 4 10mm bolts, 2 on the cylinder head, and then 2 on the outer. And after that, you get to your last 13mm down here for the vacuum pump. Pops right off. I'm definitely keeping this guy for whenever I break mine because they're made out of crappy plastic. Personally, I wish you could buy an aluminum one, but unfortunately you can't. Oh, there we go. This is the engine oil cooler. I don't want it to drop, but I don't know when it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good. Oh. So after you pull that off and make a giant freaking mess, and you just get all these 10mm 12 points. Maybe once I pull this side off, I'll make an even bigger mess. Huh, that ain't too bad. So there we go. There is a perfectly good housing that I'm probably going to keep. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead, pull all the ejectors out. These two have already been removed because I wanted to inspect the engine and see what happened. I know I showed you guys earlier, but if you look right here at the tips, this one is cylinder number 2. This is a perfectly good tip. This is cylinder number 1, and it's clearly been smashed. And in fact, the tabs that are on the front of the motor broke off whenever this got shot out. So something really, really bad happened in cylinder 1. To go ahead and take these tabs off, it's just a 13mm. Of course, you're not supposed to use an impact on everything on this motor, but it's a dead motor, so I really don't care. And most of the stuff's getting thrown away. What I was talking about is, and it broke it, this ain't no thin, tiny little piece of metal. These two tabs came completely off and left the rest of this here. So clearly something really bad happened. Then you just go ahead and grab yourself a 15mm, put it down at the base of the injector, and try to turn it to bust it loose. Probably do this one first. I know you're supposed to use an injector puller to go ahead and get this out, but this trick also works too. You just might fight with it for a little while, but you're going to fight with it with a injection puller as well. There we go, got that one loose. All you want to do is just break the freaking seal, and then it should just come up. But because I left this thing out in the rain for a long time, it doesn't want to come out. So I'm sitting here having to work it out. There we go, there's one. And as you can see, the tip of it looks perfectly fine. Well, that one wanted to fight me the whole time, but that one's out. It's really gross looking, but it also has a perfectly good nozzle on it. So now that all those are off, we can go ahead and take the camshaft off, which would be kind of fun because the camshaft is underneath a lot of spring tension right now. So I need to just go ahead and undo these a little bit at a time, back and forth. But I'm still an idiot and I'm going to use an impact. Dead motor. Now normally whenever you take these caps off, you'll have to bust them with a hammer, but thanks to the spring tension, it just popped them right off for me. So they should just come right out, except for those two, because they want to be a pain in the butt. So you just take a dead blow hammer, go ahead and knock them, and they come right off. You don't want to use a regular hammer because you'll damage these, and on this motor in particular, those are not replaceable. You have to replace the entire head. Fortunately, they never came with cam bearings in them. The actual aluminum itself is the bearing. And there is our camshaft. Man, does it look nasty as well, and I almost dropped it because of the stupid seal. Now I want to go ahead and get a stick magnet real quick. Now we can just go ahead and pull all the tappets out. I don't want to go ahead and pull the top part of the motor off yet. I want to go ahead and pull the oil pan off because I know whatever the hell's underneath this is going to be a huge surprise. I do have a hybrid oil pan on here, but I'm not taking the entire hybrid part off. We're just taking the oil pan itself. And it's just a whole bunch of 10mm all the way around it. Goodbye. So on this motor we have a chain driven oil pump. I personally am not at all a fan of chain driven oil pumps. The chain could break and then there goes your motor. I prefer shaft driven oil pumps off of like the camshaft or the crank or the distributor on some engines. So now I just need to pull this windage tray out, which it's just breaking apart on me. There it is. It's another 10mm. Pull that guy on out. Alright, and there is our windage tray. Now there's a bunch of gunk coming off of this, but I know this motor didn't die from oil starvation. So I don't know where all this slimy crap came from. Weird. Just go ahead and pull the tensioner off, which is a 10mm bolt. We'll just leave the chain right where it is, doesn't matter. Now we're going to go ahead and pull the oil pump itself off, which is also just a whole bunch more of 10mm. Pretty much this entire engine is held together with nothing but 10mm, 13s, and then as you see that we're getting more and more into it, you're going to see it's a couple 18s and 19s and whatnot. It actually looks like there's 10mm 12-point bolts holding the caps to the connecting rods together. Now hopefully this thing will come off. Yep. Just try to work itself off, get this chain off of it. I know there's probably a better way to do this. There's probably a tool for it. But this works for now. That and it's really, really like extra nasty. There we go. Now that we have that completely off, it doesn't look like there's anything wrong with the connecting rods, so let me go ahead and show you guys. As you can see, there doesn't appear to be anything wrong. I do kind of find it interesting that they are held on with 10mm 12 points. I don't know if you guys can see all the way down there, but I don't really see any issues with any of the pistons, at least not the bottom of them. We'll obviously know once we go ahead and pull the cylinder head off, which I did find something there. So let's go ahead, turn the motor back over to its top side, and I'll show you what I found on the top side that might show us what happened, or at least we could come up with a different prediction. If we come here to the top, you look at all the top of our valves where we took the tappets off, they all look good, and then all of a sudden, boom, that doesn't look right, and that one looks like it's sunk down more than it's supposed to be. So like I said before, something bad happened in cylinder 1, and I'm starting to think that it might be a dropped valve. I don't know, but we are about to find out. Now to go ahead and get your head bolts off, it's going to be a 12mm triple square, which honestly just looks like a 12-point star bit, because that's actually what it is. So yeah, this is going to be kind of tough. There we go, that's one. Holy shit! I didn't see that coming. Give me a minute, I gotta figure this out. Thankfully, I managed to get this out with no problem, but I've never done that before. So I recommend getting a better one of these without a doubt. Unfortunately, I don't have any more, so I'm going to have to figure out something to make this all work. But yeah, so I have really good quality tools, and this is my really crappy Duralast one. I ain't never broke one of these before. So who wants to place bets I'm going to break this ratchet too? Because I think I'm going to break this ratchet as well. Ah, there we go. Got it. Who knew working on cars could be such a pain in the ass? Oh yeah, that's right. Me. I did. Okay, it's probably best at this point that you guys just don't ask. PVC for the win! And now we'll revisit the nemesis. Didn't I say I'd probably break this ratchet? Well, I did. There's something going on with that head bolt. I don't know what it is. I don't like it. See if we can try this again. My ratchet might be completely done for. Oh. Hell yeah. Ugh. All of our head bolts are loose, except for this one still. And I know I broke my ratchet on that one, trying to get it out. But it seems to still kind of be working. So we're going to give it another try. And I think it just broke again. Next ratchet. Okay, so now we've upgraded from the I don't care if this ratchet breaks to the I really hope this ratchet doesn't break. Because this is a nice one, really like it. But apparently, these ratchets are actually really, really good. So we'll just have to see what happens, I guess. Yes! The other one broke it loose. Now that all the head bolts are finally broke loose, I'm gonna go around and pull them out a little bit more. That was pretty ridiculous. I don't ever remember head bolts being that hard to take out. And next time, I'm definitely bringing my big boy impact. You're not supposed to use an impact on head bolts because you can break the heads off of these. You can snap head bolts. And now we could finally take the cylinder head off. I don't know if it's going to come off easy or if it's going to fight. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my dead blow and try smacking part of it up to release it off the dowels. And that was significantly easier than I was expecting. Here we go. Let's see what happened to my ALH diesel. Oh boy, that looks bad. So guys, we dropped a valve. So that is what killed my little diesel, is a valve breaking off. I didn't even know these engines would drop valves, but this one definitely dropped a valve. And looking at it, I feel a lot of scarring on the cylinder. Feel this one. Oh yeah, this one feels super slick. There's a lot of scarring on the cylinder. I might be able to go ahead and re-sleeve this. To be completely honest with you, I have better plans for it. Alright guys, so check this out. That is a normal diesel piston in a Volkswagen ALH. That right there is a piston that has been absolutely freaking destroyed. Normal? Fucked. Normal? Fucked. And if you come look down here at the cylinder head, you can see normal and fucked. The culprit for blowing up my little diesel motor is we dropped a valve. Yeah, so I was right, it was something bad. As you can see, the valve dropped, it hit right here. I mean, it fits, literally fits in perfectly, like it's machined fit right there. Hit right here, which destroyed the injector, as you can see where the injector hole is in relationship to the glow plug. And the glow plug also got hit, because you can see right there, it sticks out a little bit. So yeah, this is some pretty catastrophic damage for sure. And I'm honestly really surprised to see this. A dropped valve is not what I was expecting to see at all. And I mean, like, this is one of those things where you really don't know when it will happen or if it will happen or anything. Like, this is, yeah, I never expected to see something like this. It's pretty crazy. And I wasn't driving the car really hard or anything whenever it blew up. I was actually just taking it home, you know, on my way home from work, and it just blew up literally like 2 blocks from the office. So yeah, that's pretty freaking nuts. 10mm 12 point, put it right here. They're so small, I might be able to. Oh yeah. The bearings look really good though. Yeah, the bearings look absolutely perfect. I mean, if you look at them, there's a little bit of heating, but like no scoring at all. These are really good bearings. This is not the proper way to take a piston out, but it is when it's blown up. Got it out, guys. I broke part of the piston crown, but that's okay. This whole thing is completely destroyed. Only one portion of it I broke off. Like, I broke that right there. I didn't break any of this. And look at that. Oh my gosh. That is a frickin' destroyed piston. This thing is absolutely done for. I'm hanging this on my wall. Like, this is going on my wall. This thing looks nuts. Good piston? Bad piston. That looks nasty. Really nasty. It is heavy. Oh my god, it's probably the heaviest part of the motor. Forged cranks. Oh. There we go. Crank's out. Crank looks good. Bearings look good. All of them look good. Gotta lay this guy down somewhere. So that is the teardown of my 2002 Volkswagen ALH diesel, kind of my Beetle that blew up. We now know what it was. The valve decided to leave its assigned seat and go somewhere else, and that somewhere else was the top of my piston. Definitely hanging it up on my wall. This is the first engine that I have owned that died this way, so yeah, I definitely want to keep that. So if you enjoyed the video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you are stopping by for the first time, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Man, that was a lot more work than I was expecting. Hopefully this turns out to be a good video just like that last engine teardown I did.